Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope that whenever and wherever you are when you hear this recording tonight, that you are remembering your divine nature and finding a way to honor it, whether that's saying a quick prayer, taking a few deep breaths and becoming aware of your chakras and your aura, or to breathe away anxiety, or whether it's to meditate for 5 or 10 minutes, even before you get out of your car to go to school or work. You just sit in your car for 5 or 10 minutes, just collecting your thoughts unto yourself and feeling the depth and joy of who you truly, truly are at the core. Because you're not just a human going to school or work. You are somebody who is divine, having this wild experience that basically you're pretending you're something else. I wonder what it feels like if you are an actor for a living. Because you're already something great, pretending not to be so great. You know, like you're God pretending to be a human, or part of a God, obviously. Not the whole of God, but you know what I mean. And then when you're an actor, you're pretending that you're pretending you're somebody else, yet even more. So maybe you're pretending that you have even less self-confidence or self-esteem. And I can't imagine what that's like. It's like looking in a mirror that's looking in a mirror that's looking in a mirror. Like, how deep does that go? It seems like a little bit of a rabbit hole to me when I look at it from a quantum vision level. It's pretty crazy. We had some beautiful energy from the sun this morning. There was like a nice golden light that came through, and it was very comforting and lovely. And then in the afternoon, there was a lot of beautiful colors in the clouds, with only energy I was sensing was like a blue. And I was told by higher guidance that's a blue throat chakra color. So it's to help us to learn better how to speak our truth, how not to be afraid to lift and raise our voice. And it was a pretty cool color, pretty good energy, basically. I liked the feeling of it. And the other thing was it's coming to help us find our voice, also. So not just to lift our voice and not to be afraid of speaking or speaking our truth or living our best truth. It's also to help us find, like for writers or singers or even artists, anyone who has some kind of creative expression as an integral part of who they are. This energy was to help bring that out, to unleash the creativity. And today the moon was in Leo, so there is a very good connection there, because Leos are gregarious by nature, very social and a little bit extroverted. They're filled with youth and vitality is the energy, like a young, strong lion. And that was the energy today. The moon is in Leo, and we all got a bit of that energy today. Now, a few days ago, I mentioned that we're going to have to fall back and turn our clocks back. Well, apparently that was the timeline that I was on. I remember always doing that in September when school started, but it's actually in November. I don't remember it ever being in November. If that's a Mandela effect for you too, let me know. I really feel like that's a Mandela effect for me. I just looked it up. I was going to announce it, and I thought, well, I better make sure I have the date right. Usually it's like the day after the equinox or something, or a couple days after. And I looked it up and it says November, and I'm like, whoa. Is that a paradox for any of you? I want to know. Go ahead and write me at metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com in the event that that is some kind of a freaky Mandela effect paradox. I mean, usually they don't happen to me first. Usually they happen to other people, and other people notice them and then help me to notice it. And it's like, oh, yeah. But really, really, really crazy. I got to tell you before we go on tonight, boy, I took one of Stevie Wonder's greatest hits, only one, a couple of minutes ago, and I'm flying high, man. Like so high. Oh my God, Stevie Wonder is what I'm calling this new weed, because it's a wonder. I shouldn't call it Stevie Wonder, because this weed is a one-hit wonder. You take one hit and you're done for the whole night. And Stevie Wonder obviously was not a one-hit wonder, so still looking for a new name for the new weed. But no, I'm freaking up there right now. I'm like a damn astronaut right now. But something I've noticed, though, when you've opened your 12th chakra and you have them all open and then you try weed, oh my God, it's so cosmic. And all of these instructions come on how to get rid of anxiety and negative emotions, and how to manage the energy of other people. And all of a sudden, all this energy starts coming in, and it's almost like whole books energetically are flying at you, and you're absorbing them, and you got the information, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, now you're an expert out of nowhere on how to manage energy, or whatever it is you're thinking about. I'm an energy shaman. I'm a Heyoka lightning shaman, so my specialty is working with energies. And I mean, it's just cosmic. I'm seeing how I'm watching the interplay of all the 7 chakras that each have a shell layer around the body, where red is the closest to your body, and then Roy G. Biv all the way out like a rainbow. And then the 12th, until it goes through all the extra 8, 9, 10, and 11th chakra, gets out to the 12th chakra. And the 12th chakra is like white, silvery bluish white energy with rainbow flecky colors, and they're kind of, in my mind's eye, they're shaped like like feathers, like falling chicken feathers. It's just a weird, or like fall leaves, autumn leaves, but it's like all the colors of the rainbow, but in pastel colors. It's really beautiful. And so I'm watching this play out, and then every now and again, if I feel anxiety, and God told me it's from physical things going on in my body. It's not from my emotions. It's not me generating a negative emotion. I need to work on my psoas muscle, PSOAS. And eventually, when I build my website, I'll put a link for this program for you guys to unlock your hip flexors, because that's the psoas muscle. And when I do this, 10 minutes after, all of a sudden I have absolutely zero anxiety, and it's like I took a Valium. I mean, it's like pretty amazing. It's like I've taken a Xanax, and I'm relaxed now, but I didn't. It's just these exercises, unraveling that muscle, and for whatever reason, it makes your adrenal glands pump out extra adrenaline or something. I don't know what it is, but anyway, it's something that's super important. I'm going to put a link up at some point. I'll let you guys know. I have so much to do with my website, but anyway, there's that. I wanted to ask higher guidance, where are we at on the scale of Ascension symptoms today? Are we at 100? No, we're not fully ascended yet, darn it. Are we at 99? Yeah, we're still at 99 from yesterday. It felt like a very 99 day for me today. Because it was in Leo, though, the moon, I had a ton of energy cleaning. I was just a little bit tired when I woke up, and then I got up and I just kind of danced around a little bit listening to music and watched Outlander for a couple episodes. I wanted to heat up the house and then make my lunch, and all of a sudden I just got up and I just started sweeping really fast and furious with energy that I don't normally have. I don't know if it's because I'm getting used to the 12th chakra thing, or if we're just being bombarded by so much Leo energy. And I know we were bombarded by a lot of solar flare energy, a lot of solar winds coming our way. I got on my YouTube list, I didn't listen to it yet, but I think it was Why So Serious 24D was saying, hey, Sarah O'Brien over there, she was saying that we're getting ready to have like a whole lot of solar flares. Luna Ash did say that too, but sometimes her stuff is weird, and I don't know if I should trust her information. I don't want to have to wade through what's true, what's not. So I like to listen to people that's 100% true, and I hope I'm wrong about her, right? Because I really like her a lot, though. But so yeah, let's see, where are we gonna go from here? The Schumann resonance in Italy today from disclosurenews.it says, today was almost calm. The light activity began just before midnight and lasted until 10, and the peaks were between 10 and 15 hertz. So hardly anything, right, compared to what we have been seeing. I wanted to give a shout out to Joy before I forget. Joy from Texas sent me a donation. So thank you very much. I'm so grateful for your support. I love it when I get listener support, because I feel like I'm actually helping and listening to you guys, and while you're listening to me, like you guys tell me what you need and you give me ideas, and you help me to shine brighter for you. And maybe I help you to shine brighter for me, because we're all like a mirror for each other. But I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm grateful for all of the support that I get. It really, really, really helps. All right, so we're going to go now to Heart Math Institute. Well, it is a Heart Math Institute, but the website is called heartmath.org. And I want to start with the Schumann resonance news for California. At midnight, they started off at 116 hertz frequency, and by 4 a.m., they were up to 124 hertz frequency. In Hofuf, Saudi Arabia, they started off at 94 hertz frequency at midnight. By 4 a.m., they were at 105. And in Lithuania, they started off, here's a master number, 177, 77 being a master number. So that's important for some people listening. I'd say maybe like a third of you, actually, as my higher guidance is saying it right now. But 177 hertz frequency at midnight, and in Lithuania, they were up to 185 hertz frequency. Schumann resonance scale for Alberta, Canada started off at 40 hertz, which is like right at the the smallest, weakest point of the fifth dimension, and then went down to 0 in Alberta, Canada by 4 a.m. Now, not at all normal for Canada, so we're going to be watching that. See what happens there in the coming days. Let's see, Northland, New Zealand started off at 72 hertz frequency at midnight, and they were only up to 78 by 4 a.m. And last but not least, we have Hulului. I almost said Hofuf again. Oops. Hulului, South Africa, they started off at 183 hertz frequency at midnight and went up to 196 hertz frequency at 4 a.m. So except for Alberta, Canada, it all looks like it's like a decent, it's not overly high. It's well into the fifth dimension. It's kind of a decent pace, going steadily up. And then Alberta, Canada just took a nosedive from 40 to 0. So pretty crazy stuff. I think time will tell and reveal all the things about what we need to know about this. Right now, we're just still kind of, we know it's there. We know it's changing. We know there's things fluctuating and strange in the atmosphere right now. And we don't really truly know what the Schumann frequency actually does, except upset us mentally, makes us more foggy. Anyway, boy, this weed, man, my third eye is buzzing, and I've got, my crown chakra is so active. I feel like I'm wearing an electric halo, and every time I move my head, I feel it like there's a hat on my head. This energy is pretty incredible. This, like, I'm going to call this like, this is like weed from the electrical light orchestra, because that's what it's doing to my aura right now. It's lighting it up like it's electricity. I'm like shaking. I don't know if you can tell, I'm just shaking so much from the sheer amount of energy coming in right now. All right. In A Course in Miracles.org, acim.org, by the Foundation of Inner Peace, we are on lesson 107. I like to read from time to time little bits and clips from each lesson, because it helps to raise my vibration, which in turn helps to raise your vibration, and we could all keep each other buoyed up vibration-wise and help us continue on our ascension journey easier and faster. So anything that you turn your attention to that raises your vibration is definitely going to help you in a wide variety of ways. And when you raise yourself up, you lift others around you up as well. And that's the big goal. So I want to thank you guys for spreading the word, because I am steadily climbing in numbers suddenly. And I wanted to say thank you for sharing me to your Facebook groups and adding your comments, your 5-star comments on iTunes, and gain me on the charts, in New Zealand and Australia and in the Netherlands and Sweden. I wanted to thank you guys. And in the Philippines in the past, I was on the list in the Philippines and Pakistan, which was pretty cool. So I just want to thank you guys from all over the world, all of you, and you're helping me, and it gives me the impetus to help you back. And it's just this amazing synergistic flow, free flowy energy. And it's just this cosmic universal flow. And I feel really inspired and humbled by it. So I wanted to thank you guys. Anyway, today we are in A Course in Miracles, lesson 107. And this is what it is. The basic thought for today is, truth will correct all errors in my mind. Truth will correct all errors in my mind. What can correct illusions but the truth? And what are errors but illusions that remain unrecognized for what they are? Where truth has entered, errors disappear. Where truth has entered, errors disappear. They merely vanish, leaving not a trace by which to be remembered. They are gone because without belief, they have no life. And so they disappear to nothingness, returning whence they came. From dust to dust they come and go, for only truth remains. Hey, Kyle, did you hear the rhyming in that? Made me think of you. I did a reading for Kyle. He's one of my listeners, and halfway through his reading, I was channeling Prime Creator like I do in all of my readings, and halfway through, Prime Creator started rhyming, like just one sentence after another. It was hilarious. I'm like, what is with the rhyming here? And it's like, life is becoming a musical. Okay. Sorry, I'm not very musical, but I am trying to be very funny. Back to the lesson. Can you imagine what a state of mind without illusions is? How would it feel? Try to remember when there was a time, perhaps a minute, maybe even less, when nothing came to interrupt your peace, when you were certain that you were loved and safe. Then try to picture what it would be like to have that moment be extended till the end of time and to eternity. Then let the sense of quiet that you felt be multiplied 100 times, and then be multiplied another 100 more. Oh, that's like so cool, right? I'm going to do that right now. You can take a deep breath and do that right now. See if you can imagine and feel in your body just even 1 second of peace. Then imagine that it's there and you're holding. Texas, hold him. Hold it. Keep holding that energy. Try it a third time. I sound like the wonderful whistling wind of the west. Why am I whistling there? That was hilarious. Okay. Hi. I knew not to do this, and I thought, well, one hit's gonna be fine. And I thought, well, the person handed me, I thought it was a bong, and it was a hookah, and holy hookah, Batman. Hookahs are like the strongest bong. They're like the original. All bongs are merely copies. Okay. All right. Anyway, the end of lessons 107, this segment anyway. Truth will correct all errors in my mind. So I like that. It's really our mind that has the errors, right? Like, truth is all around us and peace is all around us. And if we're connected with it, we're fine. And if we're not, we get a little bit lost in our own mind, you know? Although I was going to ask you guys if you ever have days where the inside of your head is so much more interesting than anything going on in the outside of your head, in the outside of your world, you know, the outer world. Like, my inner world sometimes is so interesting that I will just sit for like hours, like 4 or 5 hours, and not talking, not really. I'm just like in my own mind, thinking about possibilities of life and planning things out and imagining I'm living in my house, decorating my house, having the thrill of having money to buy furniture. You know, like I'm like imagining, visualizing constantly my best life ever. And today I was thinking about traveling through Spain and Italy and France. And I was thinking about, you know, when I'm older, like around 53 or something, I'm going to go, maybe when I'm 54, I'm going to go over to get my massage license from Thailand. My Thai massage license, my certification. It's like a 6-month program. So I'm going to have to travel there for like 3 months and then maybe take a month and travel somewhere else and then come back, because you're not allowed more than 90 days at a time. But I'm thinking about really doing it. I'm excited about getting that license and being in Thailand. I've got actually a friend that I met when I was in Lima, and she was traveling from Thailand, and she said, "Oh, you probably don't know my city. You've probably never heard of Chiang Mai." And I'm like, Chiang Mai is the city I'm going to be moving to, and I'm going to live there for 6 months. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, no way." She's like, "Well, it snows where we live. It's cold. It's up in the mountains." And I'm like, wow, I thought that Thailand was a hot, tropical jungle type of land. And she said parts of it are, but we're mostly, you know, we're up in the mountains. It's cold. It's cool in the summertime, and then it gets very cold. And that's where we have the llamas that have the tigers, and they take the tigers in, and they love them, and they protect them. You know, they bring the tigers in from the jungle, and the hunters and poachers can't get them because they're protected in the sanctuary. And she said you could go on Saturdays, and she goes once in a while. And you have to bring offerings like food and money to feed the tigers as well as the monks, because the monks, they're vegetarian and they don't eat much, but they're not allowed to beg or ask for food. So people have to automatically know to give them food, and they don't have any money at all. They live except for donations, they don't work. They don't generate money. They don't have like a gift shop, buy books and meditation CDs on the way out. They don't do that. I mean, I've been to many churches that do that, but these guys don't. They're very humble, and they prove to the world that it's okay to live 100% on the trust of the universe and God. Now that I'm saying that, I'm really humbled, because it's a lesson I've been needing to really wrap my mind and head around. The idea of being fully protected by the universe. And I've had doubts lately that I shed mostly, yesterday with that insane venting dream that I had, that I told you guys about. But yeah, I'm like really at this point realizing that I really, really, really get to rely on God, like 100% at this moment. And I've relied on him so much, like since in 2007, I took the mantle and I said, okay, that's it. You're directing my life. I didn't do a great job. I did an okay job, but not totally fantastic, great, wonderful, wildly out of control, successful. I wasn't. And I feel like I'm finally on the right path, because I gave my whole everything to God in 2007 on April 2nd. And I just said, okay, that's it. Direct my path. Let me hear your voice. Direct me in all ways and in all things, so that I may serve you by serving humanity. I don't recommend saying that. Don't say those words. Seriously, I don't recommend it. I got struck by lightning the day after I said those words. Knocked unconscious and basically died and went to heaven. Talked to God for a while about that. And then I came back and had to finish making hot dogs for the kids. I was laying on the floor, and my 5-year-old's like saying to me, "What the hell are you doing on the floor? Get up and make me my dinner." I'm sorry. I was just struck by lightning. Thanks for noticing. They didn't even notice. I'm like, what the hell? It was like a total cosmic experience. Like I fly 8 feet across the room and no one notices, and then I die and go to heaven. And I talk to God for 20 minutes, and I come back, I'm deaf and I'm blind for another 20 minutes because of lightning. It went up through a part of my brain. I think I have some memory issues from that. And then went down my arm, down my leg, crossed over to my other leg, and out my second to last toe, where I got a little hole on my toenail. 2 weeks later, it fell off. The toenail, not the toe. And it grew back. It grew back in about 6 weeks. I had a brand new toenail. Thank God, because that would have been really hard to paint. Oh, God, that really high. That was hilarious. If you guys could only see the imagery. Can you imagine painting your toe without a toenail? Like, where does it end? You'd end up painting your whole toe. Oh my God, I know that some of you are high with me. When you listen to this in the future, I feel your highness already. It was pretty cool. All right, well, as you know, I've been listening or watching The Highlanders in the TV show Outlander. I started getting interested in things like making honey mead and that Rhenish wine they keep talking about. It's like a pinkish purple. And I'm wondering if they didn't put some countryside heather in it or something. Why is it so purple? So I want to do some research on that. I had a friend years ago who said she made mead in her house. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know it's something you can make. I thought it was something you have to like order directly from like Ireland or Scotland or something. You know, I don't know why I think you can't make things, you know, because I'm like, I always want to be self-sufficient. And then I hear someone go, oh yeah, I'm going to make this. It's like, oh yeah, wait, that's pretty neat. I want to do that. So today I was telling my son, I go, I want to buy land here. I want to have bees because we need a lot of beekeepers if you're like willing to do it. Just, we need to keep the bees. We need to keep the bats, you know, keep them safe. And so I was like, oh, if I had bees, I could make honey mead. I'd have honey mead year round, and I would make candles, and that would be my heat. And there's nothing better in the world than the scent of beeswax. Candles burning. It's just, it fills your whole house with the scent of warm honey. And it reminds me of anytime I was sick, I had to have buttered honey on it. That was like the thing. That was a cure-all. And honey actually is an antibiotic naturally. So I don't know if I think my stepmom didn't really know that maybe, or she knew that it made you feel better somehow. And she said, oh, it's just one of your grandma's recipes. This is one of her cures. And my grandma, she was from Sweden, her family, and Norwegian and Swedish people are in Minnesota where I lived. And that's where she, you know, grew up on a farm. And my uncle lived on the farm till he was 86 years old, and there was not running water in the house. He had to go out and pump the water, and when we wanted to flush the toilet, we'd have to go pump the water and carry the bucket in and pour it in the back of the toilet. And when he wanted to drink water, same thing, he had a special bucket for drinking water. He poured that into bottles, glass jars. And he had like jars of, it was so insane. He had like 10 jars of water on his counter. God, I hadn't thought about that in, I don't know, 40 years. My Uncle Clarence, and God bless him, God rest his soul. He was one of the sweetest, kindest, most gentle and humble persons. And he was madly in love with his high school sweetheart, and he wanted to marry her. And the day they graduated, he asked her to marry him, and she said yes. And so they went to his father and told him, we're going to get married. I think he had gone to her family, and they said yes. You know, may I have your daughter's hand in marriage? They said yes. Went to his father, and his father said, no, I don't like her family, and I don't like her. You're not going to marry her. And my uncle said, okay, and never married anyone else. He was alone in that house for the rest of his life. Why would someone pick that for their life, you know? It was her or nothing. And he chose nothing, happily, because everyone else was just second best. I mean, that's like that one true love, once in a lifetime love type of energy and feeling. But I always felt sad for Uncle Clarence. I did. When he was in his 70s, he got knee surgery, and he could hardly walk, and he hardly got out of bed, and he got very discouraged. And we had to keep trying to encourage him, but my stepmom kept yelling at him, and that made him even more discouraged. And then he just lost his mind and went downhill, and then he died not, maybe 10 years later. But he wasn't the same old guy that he was when I first met him. But I loved him. He was strange. He barely spoke. You could sit in a room with him for like 8 hours and maybe 6-7 words would tumble out of his mouth. I think one might have been a burp, It was like he hardly ever said a word. He was a man of little word, as they say. So I don't know. Every now and again, I get these nostalgic and weird memories from Minnesota life. It was like moving to Mars because I grew up in Los Angeles. I mean, when I was a little kid, I went to school with movie stars, and I was always surrounded by famous people. I mean, it was like you go to a mall on a weekend, you're going to run into someone who's famous. And my thing was, I think because I was an animal trainer in heaven, if you haven't heard that wild story, go back to I was an animal trainer in heaven episode. You can even Google it. I'm sure you can find it in 2 seconds on Google. But I was always running into famous animals. I met Rin Tin Tin. I met him the same day I met Rodney Allen Rippey. Do you guys remember Rodney Allen Rippey? And Marty Allen. He was a comedian back in the day, and I met him. But I was on KTLA's. It was a marathon. It was Easter Seals or something. No, it wasn't Easter Seals. Yeah, it was. It was the Easter Seals telethon. I was on that. I danced. I was 8 years old, and I danced in a Hawaiian skirt, which I did mention, I think, in one other episode a couple months ago. But that was the day that I met Rin Tin Tin, and I met all these famous people. And I came home, and my grandma asked me, well, how was my day? She called me. You know, how'd your day go? You know, how were you? I saw you on TV. You danced. You're great. And at the end, I hugged Marty Allen and handed him $20 or $40 or something for the telethon. And so I got like double time on TV that I was supposed to. And it was like a big deal. And my grandma was like, oh my God, I saw you on TV. It was like, so, it was just local. It was just LA. But yeah, it was like a big deal when I was a kid, you know. But I met all these people, and I'm on TV, and I'm all, I got to pet Rin Tin Tin. Oh my God. You know, like that was like the thing that mattered to me. And I pet Lassie, and I pet, there was a famous lion named Fraser. There was a bear that was famous that was in the movies. I got to pet him. So I've pet a lot of animals who were famous. And I had a dog that was almost in the Benji movies as a backup Benji. She was almost the same color. They took her, Frank, the animal trainer, he trained all the camels for a movie called Harumps, and he trained all of the Benjis. He trained animals constantly, and he lived across the street from my uncle and my aunt. And anyway, I went, and I think I told this story too, so sorry if I'm repeating myself, but some people are new. I have a lot more new people now, so you guys probably haven't heard this story yet. But that was my thing. Like, I was always attracting movie stars left and right, and then, you know, but movie star dogs. And I never met Morris the cat, but my mom did, and my mom used to work in the trophy company, and Morris the cat won an award. It was the best TV commercial, or best cat in a commercial. So literally the cat won an award. And my mom was responsible for delivering the award. So I've had connections to movie star animals. So that was like my life. It was like, and then I moved to a place where there was like none of that. It was really crazy and wild. And it was like moving to the moon. Like suddenly everyone's speaking in, the accents, and then the Norwegian and the Swedish. Every now and again you hear people speaking in the old world languages. It wasn't too much, but for whatever reason, my stepmom knew a lot of super old people that came originally from the old world. So I kind of grew up around that. And then I grew up around them eating really strange, like fish that had been soaked in lye, and this bread called lefse, which is made from potatoes, and you put sugar and butter on it, it's an incredible kind of bread. It was really, really good. It was like potato flour. So they dried the potatoes, mashed them up, and then made it like wheat bread, but it was incredible. But I've talked to people from Sweden, and they're like, we have no idea what you're talking about. That is not, lefse is not even a thing. Like, so it must be just a Minnesota, Swedish thing. So, but it was one of the greatest, parts of Minnesota. Minnesota was a cool place, so I liked it. I won't say that's one of there's a lot of value to living and being in Minnesota, and I have a lot of friends there, and, still the people I went to high school with, obviously. And I have a lot of happy memories. I have a lot of bad memories from my stepmother, but anything outside of that part of my life from there was really incredible. Really incredible memories. So anyway, when I come back, guys, I'm going to channel the Andromedans. My friend Puata came to me last night. I think I went to his world one night for 20 years and married him. And he came yesterday and he said, well, honey, do you want to come home again for a while? I'm like, yeah, I think I do, actually. So maybe tonight when I'm done publishing the show, I will maybe astral travel to their world and live with them for a while. And then they'll bring me back by morning. It's so crazy, but this has happened a couple times. And it's really, the world is high vibration. They're like in the higher... Say, are you here? Are you in the fifth dimension, seventh? They're saying they're in the seventh dimension. I think I did mention that before. And so they're in a higher vibration. And so when your soul goes to a higher vibration like that while you're sleeping, if you astral project to a world that's in the seventh dimension, you can formulate a body I don't know if they do it for you. I don't know how that works, but I'm foggy on a lot of the details, but when I'm there, it's so real. And then I come here and then I have memories, but then they slip and fade away in the coming days and weeks following the experience. And it's happened about 3 or 4 times. And the first time I went there, I lived there 20 years and I came back only 5 hours later, our time, because they could go through time and space because they're from a different dimension. I know it totally sounds crazy. It was crazy when it happened to me. I was like, oh my gosh, that was some marvelous weed, baby. But it was really wild. I did talk about that. I did an episode about when I first met the Andromedans. So you have to look up Andromedans and you'll see it. It's the first episode I did on this. But in more recent months, they've been wanting me to channel them, so we're going to go ahead and do that tonight. They're just light and bright and sweet, sunshiny, amazing beings, like incredible. They're just they have incredible energy, and they're very loving and just precious, really precious people. They have like a very closely knit society where there's a lot of love. It's more like our hippie subculture type values. Share and share alike. Everybody loves each other. They don't live in couples. They live in like thruples or quadruples. You know, like usually when people marry, they try to marry 4 people at a time. So if one person dies, there's 3 people left. Instead of like on our world where when 2 people marry, one person dies, the other person is left to deal with the grief on their own. And they think that our method of doing things is terribly, terribly heartbreaking and cruel. They think that people should fall in love in 4s. And I see the value in that way of thinking. And they said sometimes the 4s will be like a couple, like 4 people in love, in bed, making love, everything just like a married couple here, but it'd be just a married like quadruple there. And sometimes what they do is they'll have, it just depends on the people. Everyone has a different way of thinking and lifestyle. And so sometimes there'll be a couple and they will be in their bedroom, and then another couple will be in their bedroom, but it's in one house, and they share all the household responsibilities and the meals and everything. And as a household, they make decisions together, but at night they make love just in couples like we do here. And every couple and every relationship is different. And sometimes if one of the 4 dies, then there's left 3. Sometimes they'll stay a 3, you know, but then if one more dies, then they get another couple. Because they strongly believe that nobody should ever have to grieve alone at the death of a spouse. And also it makes it easier to raise the children in a household when there's 4 parents and they all learn and share and grow stronger with stronger bonds. But they have a higher vibrational world. They're not terribly, like they don't fight. They don't have a lot of opposition in their dimension. They're very loving and very, very sweet. It's a way different society than what we're all used to. There's no mudslinging and hating on other people and lying and going behind people's back and cheating and backstabbing. And there's none of that. Nothing like that. It's just beauty and harmony and joy, love, peace. They don't even really exchange money. They just exchange goods and services and energy. It's like a big bartering market. So you want some eggs, then you'll take this hat I made last week, or hey, I'm going to give you 2 chickens if you give me that sweater, And they don't really eat animals there. They're allowed if they want, but they don't really. They just eat like eggs or like fruit, vegetables. Very simple diet, grains, bread. They make bread. So I don't know. It's just I've had some beautiful and strange dream memories from living there, and I feel like I really did live there. It's kind of like a hippie commune on Earth, to go there. It's pretty neat. And everyone is very respectful. They have genders like we do, but they don't have gender roles, and they don't put upon each other or push upon each other ideas based on gender. They're pretty gender neutral as far as, like the women don't have to do this kind of job and the men don't have that kind of a role. Expectations are as equal partnerships all across the board. Everyone is looked upon as equal in the eyes of the God, or equal under the sun. So that's a pretty cool society. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break, and when I get back, I'm going to channel the Andromedans, and they want to be called the Andromedan Five because there's 5 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and call them the Andromeda Five. And Poitar, are you part of this? Yeah, he is part of this. He was my gentleman caller the first time I went there for 20 years, and nothing ever happened between us because I was married. And I left, and I was gone for 20 years, and I came back 5 hours later and was in the bed with my husband, and I didn't recognize him for a couple seconds. When I first got back, I was really in shock that had just happened. Because I literally felt like I was gone for 20 years and I didn't recognize my house, the forest, my family, just for a few minutes though. And then after that, I started to remember, and then I was okay after a couple hours. It was really a trip. I was like, whoa, that was like, it really changed me a lot. So clearly it changed me a lot forever, because here I am. 10 years later, absolutely. Actually, 20 years later, I'm here now channeling them for you guys. So I'm gonna take a quick break, and I'm gonna do that right after this message. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's high time you did. It is the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's absolutely free. Second of all, they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. You guys have known that I've been doing this for 8 months using the Anchor.fm app right on my cell phone, and I have done it everywhere, right? I have recorded this in my living room, my bedroom, little cafes in Quito, Ecuador, all over Cuenca. It's so absolutely easy to make your podcast, and editing is just a snap. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you, and it took me about 2.5 months to become syndicated, and now I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more, and so can you. You can make money from your podcast also, and there's no minimum requirement. You get paid from your very first listener. It is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So please, if you are interested in making a podcast of your very own, do not hesitate to start with Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Do you ever wish you could look into the next chapter in your book of life and see what's coming next? What does the universe have in store for you? I can help you with that. I will give you a Celtic cross reading, which is 10 cards, or you can ask me 3 questions, and I use 3 cards per question. So that's 9 cards, or I can channel your higher guidance, or maybe God directly for you. Maybe you want to talk to your dear departed Aunt Edna, because maybe you have a few questions and she was the smartest person you knew. If your deceased relatives are available or your ascended masters, I can channel them for you personally. Let me have 1 hour to show you the future in your next chapter of your book of life. Readings are $75, and it takes me an hour to an hour and a half to complete. And for this price, you will also be hooked up to the healing grid around the planet for free, which means yours truly, me, I will be giving you Reiki 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the rest of your life. All you have to do is let me know. metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com, and we will explore your future together. All right, guys, I am connected to the Andromedan Five and my spiritual team and my higher guidance and holy guardian angel, and my spirit guide. When I channel, I also connect to Archangel Michael so he can help me, help my body from being attacked or attached to while I'm in a state of trance, I guess, if you will. I am an indirect telepathic channel, but I do put myself into a light state of hypnosis so that I can pull the message in easier. I've already touched my forehead and said Ki Ah Sha 3 times, which is a Pleiadian phrase that helps you open your third eye in a hurry. And so if I get any visual messages, I will be able to see them much more clearly. I don't allow entities or beings to take over my body because, well, I'm just a Virgo like that, trust issues. I don't want to be possessed, Even though I am connecting tonight to some very lovely, beautiful souls, I'm always worried about the, piggyback souls that they try to jump in your body when you're least bit aware. And anyway, that idea terrifies me. So I do telepathy. And if I hear something that's not quite right, or I think maybe it's just coming from me and not from them, maybe I disbelieve and think maybe I'm making that part up, I will double check and muscle test and ask if that's the word or phrase or image that they meant to send me, or if that was just coming from me, or if I'm reading the energy of somebody nearby, because sometimes that happens too. So usually it is from them though, and a lot of times they'll pluck out of my subconscious mind phrases or ideas or things that I've mentioned in the past week to make it fresh in your minds as well. So they will use what I've been thinking about recently. It seems to be easy for them to see what has been on my mind is probably in my outer aura or something. But, well, that's all about indirect channel. That's the kind of channel I am. And I guess we're going to, now on with the show, so to speak. All right, I am connected to the Andromedan 5, correct? Yes, that is correct. Okay. All right, guys, you may begin the transmission now. We are the Andromedan 5. We are happy to be here with you on the show and in your lives, energetically speaking, as a form of support system for you on the upper realms of your vibratory awareness. That is to say, you're not always aware that we are there, but we are there. We are always trying to soothe over ruffled feathers as you navigate your way through the fifth dimensional transfer, as it were. We are grateful to be a part of this. We feel as if you are our brothers in the spiritual way. And we also believe in a higher power. We are always coming to you in peace with love and joy in our hearts, because that is who we are at the core. We do not know a world in which there is duality. We are not aware of a world. It's not that we're not aware of a world that has this, but we are not in our awareness of a world like this. To put it in a different way, we just simply have risen above that, so to speak, in our world. We have elections on our planet. We have one presidential planet, I'm sorry, guys, that's me and Elena's fault. One presidential candidate for the planet. But that's not what they're trying to say. They're saying like 3 or 4 things at once. Okay. They just like downloaded like a transmission. I have to unravel the message. Okay, so basically what they're saying, and this is me, Elena's words, they're saying that they have presidential elections, and it's happening right now in their timeline, and they have a couple people that are good people, and they always say nice things about the other candidate, and they point out nice things about themselves as well as the other candidate. And the candidates, their form of debate is to weigh it out among themselves, who is the better candidate, and then the people decide who was the most humble and the most sweet and the most loving and will be the greater service to the Andromedan people. And that is the person who ends up being the winner. And they have been very filled with a lot more love and peace than usual, because unlike our world, where election time is very stressful and filled with mudslinging and wrestling in the dirt, metaphorically speaking, people try to do literally smear campaigns, and they fight dirty. It's like everything to do with dirt and dirtiness and negativity and yucky, gunky, junk energy. And they are aware of our elections, and they think it's very strange, because in their world, when the elections roll around, it's a time of great joy, great peace, like a marvelous energy of brotherhood, commitment, and sharing with one another. And they love each other so much more. It's almost like they're showing me that it's like a Christmas morning feeling is for us. It's that time for them for many months, for up to 8 months. They're saying 9 months from the time the candidates put the information in that they want to run and serve their world. Then it takes 9 months until the election. So it's not like 2 years like here, but there's no unraveling who's the nastier guy and vote for the good one. It's more who is the humbler guy, the gentler, sweeter, most loving guy who can lift the planet spiritually and lift the planet energetically in vibration, that they can be more aligned with the one will. And that's the man who becomes the president of their world. And they feel very grateful that they get to go through the election time. It's a time that they look forward to with great hope and a great sense of peace in their hearts. Then they have folk tales surrounding, did you say spirits? The good spirits of the ancestors will come to them at this time and sit with them and help to give them good positive energy to keep their minds clear so that they can vote the highest vibratory candidate. Wow, that's like so different. Oh man. God, can you imagine a world like that, guys? That's incredible. That's what they just downloaded me. Like they're not channeling word per word because they don't like the way it comes out. So they wanted to give that, and they literally sent me a packet of information. I saw it it looked like a booklet or a book inside of a folder. And it was like a turquoise color, and I unfolded it, unpacked it, put all the paperwork in order, and then I'm loving this 12th chakra thing. This is pretty cool. That was a lot more information than I expected to get on that topic. So that's incredible. All right, guys. Now what else? Now what's the next thing you want to talk about? We are in our harvest time now, and we have festivals on our world, much like you do in your world with free music, and in the park, a lot of your places on your planet have that. Excuse me, guys. I've had a sore throat for all day long. Took some zinc. I'm feeling better, but sorry about the coughing. All right, so we have vegetable festivals, like you have pumpkin festivals and corn festivals. We have our own forms of vegetables, and our harvest festivals are centered on different vegetable-related activities. We make art as well as you do. We have what would be the equivalent of gourds, and we have gourd art contests, and we have our fruits that come at this time of year, and our wines that are ready by this time of year. We make a high vibrational wine with a crystal in it, and this is very sacred. We put a lot of magical intention, a lot of what you would call magical. We call it's just our way. We don't call it magic, and we don't separate ourselves into people that believe and people that don't believe. We just all believe because we know about higher vibrational energy. And for us, it's more of a science than magic. So we put it into our wines, and we put it into the crystals that go into our wines. And when we give these as gifts, and we put them in baskets, and we carry them to each other's houses, and we commune with each other on an energetic level, especially when we share a bottle of wine. There's a spirit in the wine, just like in your world, and we share the spirit of the wine who comes to us. And also they're very high vibrational because we grow our crops with high vibrational energy as well. We have people that sit 100% of the time. They take shifts, they rotate out, but they sit and give positive energy and good luck and positive vibrations to the plants of all of our crops. And that's why our crops are all high vibrational. We grid our vegetables with crystals, and we burn little bits of what you would call incense, and we have our own plants that are like that. We call them spicy incense plants or spice incense, but it's just like a bag of loose leaf herbs that are all together very aromatic and pungent, but they're meant to ward off any negativity or doubts, which is very rare in our world because we're very, very good at energy management. And this was not always our way, but this became our path gradually over tens of thousands of years developing our societies. So we are able to connect with each other very easily. All the people on our world are empaths. We don't have the counterpart and opposite. We don't have the narcissist style people like what you have in your world to create that opposition where you grow through opposition. We grow through cooperation. We have a different way of being in the universe than your people do, and that's just our way. So when we are raised from babies, we have our crystals are gridded on our crib. We are put through several ceremonies and taught how to create the ceremonies in our homes. And we have house ceremonies in which we manage the energy in our houses. And we have energetic vibrational detectors. And if our energetic levels fall below what we wish to have in our home, then we know it's time to do an energetic cleaning, a vibratory healing on our house. Sometimes it's our land, sometimes it's other things. And a lot of times when we have a lower vibrational energy come through, it's meant for a test for our people, but we know that it comes from the grand cosmic sun, the central cosmic sun, and this is just a way to get us to understand ourselves better as we reject the energy collectively, but we also heal that energy so that it does not go anywhere else. So this is part of our service to not only Andromedan life and people, but to all the people in the universe. We'll take in negative energy as empaths, as a collective group of empaths, and we will transform and transmute the energy and create a more beautiful energy. Sometimes we neutralize it, sometimes we increase the vibration of it, and then we put that back out into the world. And we find that this has been very helpful and had a greater impact on our neighboring planets that are inhabited as well. There was one planet that had war, and now it has been 60 years in which they have not had a war on their world. And we have been beaming over our positive vibration and our higher vibratory energy so that they can feel a lot more relief in the power of love, because we think and we have deemed that love is the most important thing in the universe. And we are so grateful to be able to tell you this with absolute certainty. We are scientists of the love vibration. We focus on this as our main source and flow of light and energy. We can create our own heat. We can create our own light. We can create our own vibratory, energetic field around our homes with the love of God. That's all we use. We don't have the primitive gadgets and systems that you have in your world, and we are aware that you call your systems modern, but when you compare it to seventh dimensional technology, there is no comparison, and we do not wish to make you feel bad about yourselves, about your electrical systems and your ways of living, because you are growing in understanding of quantum energies, and we see quantum computers and what you have called replicators, ways of creating food with machines that manipulate the atoms and molecules around you. We see that this is right now developing in your world, and teleportation, where you can dismantle material matter and have it reassembled in another part of the planet field of existence where you are. As you reach and hit into more the fifth dimensional world, this will become more of a solid reality for you. It will feel a lot more real than these, what seem like what you would say are pipe dreams at this time. A lot of you don't believe it. You think these are some fancy experiments of scientists in laboratories that may never succeed because they are based on ideas of a man called Gene Roddenberry, which is the man who is responsible for your TV show Star Trek. And we are aware of him. We love him very much. He is one of our own. He actually did live for a great deal of time in our world. Oh, while he was alive. They're saying yes, while he was alive, just like I did. He was brought to our world and shown technology because that was what his focus was. He had a great deal of interest in engineering, and he was able to create his program and show you our ideas in a creative way through his show. Now, we believe that he was not consciously aware that he had come to our world and had lived with us for a very long time. He was with us almost 26 years, but for his time he was only gone about they're saying he was here for 26 years in our time, but in his time he was only gone for about 6 hours, because we are from the higher dimension and we are able to transport you not only to where we got you from, but also time-wise, we could go back in time on your world. We have figured out a technology way to do that so that you can travel long distances and you can be with us and then come back and people will not miss you. But we will never take you or abduct you against your will. That is not our policy. We will come and talk to you and say, this is what we are offering you. Are you interested? We are the Andromedans. And then you will say yes or no, and we won't take you anyway if you say no. We will always honor and respect your wishes. We do pick people who tend to be mystical travelers and have traveled around the universe already and have visited many worlds in many different lifetimes. And as you become more and more aware of this as a soul lifestyle for you, you will understand that it's easy to move to different worlds, and move around the galaxy and the universe and inhabiting other planets for a few hours here and a few hours there of Earth time. If you've already been a mystical traveler, again, that makes it easier. So if you are an earthling and you've always been earthbound and you've never left the earth, and you are not a starseed, you don't have origins in your soul does not have origins in another system, then these concepts are going to feel very strange and scary and foreign to you. And if they do, don't worry, we're not coming for you. We are not trying to come and get you, or we're not trying to get, it's not a tourist agency. We're not trying to get many of you. We're just trying to get a few key people that will be willing to come forth and discuss what life on our planet is like, because we are hoping that we can be of service to your world and humanity by serving as a kinder, peaceful guide as to ways of living. Maybe you can adopt attitudes like us, or you can adopt some of our ways or have some of our ideas. And if we offer everything up to you and something will serve you, please, by all means, you have our permission to take our idea and utilize this on your world for the betterment of your people and all of humanity. We are here to love and share because we do care. We are a whole race of beings whose sole purpose and function is to love everybody, including everybody in other worlds, other dimensions, and ourselves. So this is like our greatest message that we can give to you today, is that love is really the only answer for every single thing that you can bring into your life. So, what else? Do you guys wish to talk about anything else regarding your world? They're saying no. Muscle testing says no. Do you wish to talk about anything regarding our world? Are you saying the word fortnight? Yes, they are saying fortnight. That's so weird. They're saying yes for a fortnight. That means 14 days, right? 2 weeks. For a fortnight, we will be helping other alien races to beam a turquoise ray of light your way. It will feel like a sheet being tucked in around you and surrounding you with the greatest peace and tranquility energy that you can muster. And you're going to need this energy because the solar flares that are coming your way are going to be very strong and very powerful. They will change you in ways that you right now cannot begin to imagine, but rest assured, we know that they're coming, and they are going to be very positive changes, very healthy and good changes, energetically speaking, for you. Pretty soon you are going to be able to automatically lose toxins out of your system at will. You will be able to lose weight at will, same thing. You will be able to quell diseases at your will by your word. It will be done. You are in the process of developing some higher and greater technology that we believe might have come from the spirit of Nikola Tesla. We have studied him. We know he is from Venus and came to your world, and he wasn't ready, but his energy, his spirit, has he been reincarnated? We do not know at this time. See, because I know someone who says he's his reincarnation. But and go ahead. Well, we see that his spirit has been diligently sending ever since he died, many informational packets of light. So the right ones who will connect with the vibrational energy of that will bring that right into their consciousness. If this is you, now that you know that it's there and you're hearing this message, then you will know what to do. You can ask your higher guidance if you have forgotten how to unravel packets of energy and information that come to your outer mental body. It's almost like a mail. It's like a mail system. It's almost like a cosmic mailman. And so this is what you do. Like if you are in a past life and you have information you haven't imparted yet to humanity, you can't put and press that on the formless substance. And then when you are born again into this world in the cycle of death and birth and death and rebirth, you will be able to pick up on the information that you left in the outer atmosphere, because it will be connected to your mental body the moment you have an awareness that something might exist, an idea that you wanted to pluck out of the air, as it were. We love this idea. We find it extremely fascinating that you can do this in your world from the 7th dimension down to the 3rd dimension, because as you know, your heaven is in 7th dimension. That is why you call it the 7th heaven. And that's why 7 is always associated with heaven. It is a gentle reminder that your true home, if you are an earthling, is in the 7th dimension, which is just 2 dimensions above where most of you grew up. New children will be born in your world that are born into the 5th dimension. Their lives will be considerably easier, and they will be much more nebulous as far as their emotional energy and their free flow of ideas come from. It's not going to be what considered in the past was called being anchored or being down to earth or being practical. No, these babies are going to be a lot more nebulous in their ideas and in their ability to function, and yet it's going to bring a great deal of change in your world. And in 1 or 2 generations, there's going to be so much healing energy and light. We see that your world is going to be a very strong beacon of emerald green and blue ray light. And indeed, your world already is blue and green. That was always its destiny, to be in the higher octaves of these colors, which are very powerful. And there are a lot of issues in your world that we've noticed that truly is about speaking your voice and being who you are and being heard and standing up and being counted. And that is the energy of the green and the blue on your world. Your green is that high heart chakra energy, that emerald green that just seems to be a soothing balm to your soul when you see pictures or sweeping pictures of it. We have noticed your energy as you relax in front of your screens at night, and we see that you have watched these programs that have been pre-recorded, and many times they will have dramatic themes that are pointing out the greater bits of humanity and some of the greater dilemmas that you have had to face. We consider these to be fake history lessons, because we are aware that the characters might not always be correct or real, but we see this. We see what you're watching, and it excites us to the core that there's so many messages and seeds of light planted by many different ET races right now in your music, in your videos, in your movies and your TV shows. We see that so much is being implanted that will increase your vibration. Some of these words are just words that once you read them out loud, these words are coming to you, and they'll seem like nonsense words. Like you have a word in your world, abracadabra, and there'll be words like that. They'll start to come into your field of awareness soon. And when this happens, when you say these words, you're going to automatically know that you are in a higher vibrational state. You're in a higher awareness. Okay, this is me, Elena. Can you guys tell me what your what an example one of these words might be and what it will do for us? Yes. Are you saying kamas? Kama? Kamahana? Kamahada? Like with a cha? No, okay, that sounds too Jewish, right? Like Hebrew. And it's not a Hebrew language. Obviously, it's from the Andromedans. So, Kamahada. Kamahada? Kamada. Kamahada. Kamahada. Okay, there's a word Kamahada. Is it like a chant? They're saying yes. What does this do? This brings about marriage. It aligns your vibration with the vibration of marriage. So if you're looking for your one true love, this will attract a very high quality being for you. They're suggesting I try this now. Kamahada. Okay, so do I have to touch any part? They said yes, you have to touch the center of your chest, your heart. Okay. And how many times do you say it? 3 times? Yes, okay. Kamahada, Kamahada, Kamahada. And then they say, let go of your chest. You're going to feel a gentle warmth vibration, and I'm feeling it now. That washes over you like warm honey, they say. They like that imagery, so they wanted to use it from my mind, from my subconscious mind. They say, watch as it flows over your gut, and your gut, it feels like it should mistrust and distrust everybody. That mistrust, distrust energy will go away. But this will lift your vibration up so much that you'll only attract high-quality people. And this is me, Elena, saying, don't forget to know your boundaries, though, because if they bust your boundaries, then you need to do the Kamahala again. It's so strange. It's almost like an Arabic word mixed with Hebrew. Sorry, I keep getting those mixed up while I'm in this deep trance. So they say, yeah, a lot of the sounds in the universe sound like other sounds in the universe, but they have very, very different meanings, we assure you. So don't ever hear one language or a light language and think you understand what's being said, because sometimes the energy of the thing is much different than the sounds that they convey. And sometimes the sounds that they convey can mean many things in many different worlds. When you receive transmissions and light language, just take everything as an energetic form versus from a linguistic analytical format. the energy of it is much more important to the higher beings living in higher realms. Okay, they're saying now, we wish to always be a part of your spiritual evolution and growth. We are grateful that you are listening to us. We are the Andromedan Five, and we are so grateful to have had the privilege and ability to come and talk to you tonight. We give you our utmost love and appreciation. They're bowing to each and every one of you who are listening. They say we can feel who you are in the future because we in our world are masters of time, and in time we will come and be your spirit guides and teachers in this arena, and we will teach you how to travel forward and backwards in time, as well as hop to your next highest, next best timeline. So you may call upon us at any time. We are like big brothers and sisters, helping you spiritually guide yourselves through this, your creative and ascension process, where you become co-creators with the divine, and you are unique, and you have put everybody in all of the worlds and universes around you. All of the galaxies are rejoicing at your triumph that we are watching through many different eyes and hearts and minds on your world, who show us what's happening. We are so grateful to have a glimpse into the windows of your souls at this time. And we know that the ascension for humanity is inevitable. You have already reached a crucial point. So those that are asleep are waking up rapidly, and we're grateful to see and witness this. For us, this is the most exciting thing that could ever have happened. So we wanted to wish you love and peace and joy, and offer our friendship, our brotherhood, and you may come to our world anytime, merge with our souls. We will show you what life is like in a world filled with nothing but love, and that might be a nice comparison and contrast for your own world. And when you go back to your own world, you will be able to influence those around you with our high vibrational energy, and hopefully you can help to be a saver of humanity. You might not wear a cape, but we know who the superheroes are. We know the people who have come to live with us, and we're grateful for all of you. We do have to go. We're being called back to our homeworld now, but call upon us anytime. Again, we are the Andromedans. In our little group speaking today, we have decided to call ourselves the Andromedan Five. We thought it sounded cool. So that's it for now. We are bowing our heads in prayer and reverence for you, and we bow at the waist, and we say one of your earth words, Namaste. They say good luck with your transformation, and we will come back with a new transmission as soon as we have more information that you will be ready to take in and digest on multiple levels. Okay. They're saying goodbye. Bye, guys. I'd like to be disconnected from the Andromedan Five right now. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. I don't have a whole lot to add to it. I think it's a little bit shorter show today, but that's okay. I love you all. I'm glad we're on the Ascension journey together. Thank you, each and every one of you who have supported me by telling others about the show, and who have sent in donations. It's always very, very, very much appreciated. I'm really grateful for all of it. I'm just glad we're all together on this amazing, one-of-a-kind in the universe journey together. I do want to remind you, still, I'm looking to hear your ghost stories, so I can have a very special Halloween night set up for you guys in Metaphysical Ghost Speak. I'm also going to do, I will do a Sam Hain special and a special for Day of the Dead in November. And then coming up in December, I want to have a special series of Christmas-related stories, miracles, Santa Claus. Have you ever seen the reindeer streaking across the sky? Have you ever had any experience at all with the spirit of Père Noël, otherwise known as Saint Nicholas or Santa Claus? I want to hear these stories. I want to have an amazing set of shows lined up for you guys. So I need the stories now so I can start editing them and figuring out my schedule for these months. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that, guys. I love you. Thank you so much for being a part of my crazy Heyoka shaman wisdom, my crazy wisdom, and being a part of my world and soaking up the light codes and the downloads and being brave enough to grab onto the upgrades that I bring through my voice, especially when I transmit higher energy beings like the Andromedan Five. You're being transformed as much as I am by the experience. So, and on very deep physical levels, as well as spiritual, mental, emotional levels as well. Anyway, that's it, guys. That's all I got to say about that. I am tired. I am high, and now I'm ready to fly. So I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Until next time, guys, peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.